Hi there children, Teacher Mike here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the What Makes an Insect an Insect book. And this is what the cover is going to look like. What makes an insect an insect? So we're going to learn about insects, and there are certain traits that make an insect distinct from other animals, okay? So most of the time insects are small, right? But that's not a trait that defines them. There are certain things that define them as a type of animal unique from other animals. They're different than mammals, than reptiles and amphibians, than birds and fish. They're unique. So let me move my camera so you can see my book and we'll get started. One moment. Okay, so here is my book. So I've printed this out and I've attached it to this assignment, so you can print it at home as well. If you don't have a printer, then you can just use a blank piece of paper and draw it, okay? So we start off with our title page. Our title is What Makes an Insect an Insect? You can color it in, and we have a picture of an ant here, and you can color that as well. I'm going to forego that, so the video is a little bit shorter, but I need to write my name, Teacher Mike. Okay, then I'm going to open this up, and this is my first page. So the first trait that all insects have is that insects have 3 body parts, okay? So that's what I'm going to write. Insects, so my first letter is capitalized. Insects have 3 body parts. So every insect has 3 body parts. And the 3 main body parts are, let me draw them. So we have a thorax right here. Kind of looks like this. And each insect, these body parts might look a little bit different, and we'll get to see them when I draw each insect on each page. But this first one, I'm going to draw a housefly. And a housefly has wings like this. Right. So the 3 body parts are the thorax, which is right here in the middle. Thorax. The abdomen, which is this part at the bottom. Abdomen, and the head, which is at the top. So this is a housefly, and that's one eye, this is one eye, and this is the rest of its head right here. This is the thorax, and in their thorax, insects have all of their internal organs, and this is their abdomen, okay? So all insects have these 3 body parts. Sometimes insects have wings, most insects have wings, but not all. So this housefly has wings, for example, but to be an insect, you have to have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen every single time. Okay, let's turn the page. So, the second trait that all insects have, insect adults have 6 legs. So, insects have 6 legs. Insects have 6 legs. This is a statement, so I do a period at the end, just like that. Insects have 6 legs, okay? And I'm going to pause for a second. Every time I teach this lesson about insects and I say insects have 6 legs, someone raises their hand and I say yes, and they say, but spiders have 8 legs. And I say, that's true. Spiders have 8 legs and insects have 6 legs. So what does that tell us about spiders? It tells us spiders are not an insect. They're different. Spiders are something called an arachnid. They are not an insect. So insects have 6 legs. If an animal does not have 6 legs, it is not an insect. So I'm going to draw a picture of an ant that has 6 legs, okay? I bet you have seen an ant before. I see ants all the time. They're usually crawling around in grass, and sometimes they crawl into our houses. They like to crawl into my house from time to time, especially after it rains. So you may have seen an ant recently. So we have 1, 2, 3 legs, 4, 5, 6. And legs are attached to the thorax, okay? This ant has 2 eyes right here. He has his antenna and his little mandibles. So this is an ant. 6 legs. Let's label them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 legs. Okay, insects have 6 legs. Let's turn that page. This next one, we're going to get to say a fun word. So insects have exoskeletons. Can you say exoskeleton? Try it. Exoskeleton. Whew, that's a long word. Let's clap it, see how many syllables are in it. Exoskeleton. Exoskeleton. 5 syllables in that word. That is a long word. So exoskeleton is a word for that means the hard parts of their body are on the outside. So humans, mammals, have bones on the inside of our body. That's the hard structure of our body. Insects have an exoskeleton. So their hard structure of their body is on the outside, not the inside. The insides are all soft. So let's write that. Insects have exoskeletons. Insects. Ooh, and I'm making this be plural. Plural means when means more than one. And so when I add an S to the end of insect, it becomes plural. Insects. So I'm talking about all insects with that. Insects have look how long this word is. Exoskeletons. Whoa, it takes up the whole line. Look at that. Exoskeletons. I'm just going to pause for a second and point out, if I cover up skeletons, we see exo. Exo means external, which means on the outside. So outside, cover up exo. Skeleton. Hey, I bet you've heard skeleton before. That's all of our bones in our body is called our skeleton. So for humans, we call our skeleton the bones inside our body. For an insect, we say exoskeleton because the structure, the hard structure of their body is on the outside. So external, outside, skeleton. It all makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to draw a dragonfly for this. So it has 3 body parts, right? A head, a thorax, and then a dragonfly's abdomen is long and thin, and it looks like this. Looks like lots of little pieces, but it's all part of the abdomen. And then they have 4 wings like this. This is a dragonfly, and their exoskeleton is the outside that's really hard. So I'm going to just draw extra hard on that. Make this outside be harder and thicker. So we're emphasizing it. See how the lines are getting thicker because I'm pushing hard and I'm going over them many times? I'm making them look bold and emphasized so we can see it. I'll just point an arrow towards it. There we go. So they have an exoskeleton. Turn the page. Next up, insects have a pair of antennae, okay? And they go on their head. So we'll say insects There's plural again. Insects have a pair. So this word pair means two. So you might have a pair of hands. We have two hands. A pair of feet. We have 2 feet. You have a pair of eyes on our bodies. We have 2 eyes. And insects have a pair of antennae. A pair of antennae. And this antennae, this word is plural for antenna. An antenna is the little, what's another word for it? The little protrusion off of their head. So let me draw a beetle. So beetles have 3 body parts, right? They have their head. Beetles' heads kind of look like this. And they have their thorax. And then beetles have a big abdomen. Like that. And then they have the legs. And then beetles have a long pair of antennae. They go like this. That's the antenna. Point arrows to that. So they come off their head, and antennas branch out so that the insects can feel things with them, and also they can communicate. So sometimes ants will walk up to each other with their antennas, and their antennas will touch each other, and it's them communicating. Because they don't have words to talk with, but they can bump antennas, and if they bump like 3 times, that might say like, come with me, or it might be like, no, let's go over there. So then they communicate with their antenna. Okay, let's turn the page. We have one more trait. Insects are born from eggs. Insects are born from eggs. Period. Okay. And I want to draw a beehive for this one. So beehives are made out of hexagons, and a hexagon has 6 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's an egg inside. And there's a baby bee in there. So it's a cool thing about hives are these hexagons can interlock with each other. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's another one with an egg inside. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's another egg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And another egg. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that'd go below my picture, so I'm just going to stop like that. And you can see another egg like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Egg inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Egg inside. 1, 2, 3. You go over here. 4, 5, 6. Egg inside. Egg inside. Egg inside. Look at all these eggs. There's lots of eggs in a beehive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5 and 6 would be above my picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Egg inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd be outside my picture. Egg inside. An egg right there. Oh, part of an egg over here. Man, we can fit an egg right there. Oh my gosh, look at all those eggs. So that is a lot of bee eggs right there. Okay. So that is the end of our book, friends. Let's just go over those traits one more time. What makes an insect an insect? Oops, I printed my book silly. So let's try it like this. Insects have 3 body parts: head, thorax, abdomen. Insects have 6 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Insects have a pair of antennae, right, coming off their head. Insects have exoskeletons, and that's the hard part of their bodies on the outside to give them structure. Where's my last page? There it is. I need to figure out my printing. Insects are born from eggs, and look at all these eggs inside a beehive. And so these are called, this is the comb, like a honeycomb is the structure, and the eggs are inside and being protected. Let me move my camera so you can see my face. That's the end of our how to do this, what makes an insect booklet. I hope you enjoy doing this. And insects are pretty neat. They are all over the world. They are all over. Here's a fun fact to end with. There are way more insects than humans on our planet. By far. It's not even close. There are way, 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 way more insects than humans, so they are all over, and insects are crucial to the planet because little animals eat insects, and then bigger animals eat those animals, and then those animals get eaten by other animals. Without insects, our food chain would fall apart. And insects take care of plants. Insects are super important. So although they're tiny and sometimes they can be a little bit creepy crawly, sometimes they can scare us, they can't hurt us. And they are super important, so we want to take care of them. So we'll learn more about them in the time to come. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.